Hey, anybody home?
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you, ladies?
We are good. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. What you're up to?
We are trying to make Copara bark.
Aha. But what about my raw food then?
All right, let's try something. We have to ask Debbie about it.
Aha, we have got the guru right here. Okay,
We're
alright.
going to take the copra pak and we're going to turn it into raw food with
There you go.
no sugar and no heat.
And then no dairy products.
And no dairy products.
There you go.
That's awesome. I hope that you're gonna leave something for me to try.
Well, maybe.
We'll think about that part later.
Alright, then I'm gonna shut up and get out of your way and let you do the magic, the trick. You!
There you go. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, so we're going to take the coconut shreds because they're big.
Right.
And we want to grind them down a little in the Vitamix just to make them so they go a little further in the recipe and maybe they're not so big. No, maybe they're in here.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
So it's just plain dried coconut. So the coconut, because there's no sugar in there, but it's natural coconut sugar, it will sweeten the recipe. So it's just going to be ground down just a little. We might need more, but we'll see as we go along. And then, because we're trying to make this have a fudge-like consistency,
Right.
we're going to use macadamias and cashews as the base. Does the regular recipe have cashews in it?
No. Because it has lots of milk. And we are putting, instead of the milk, we are trying to put the coconut or cashew, right?
The cashews and the macadamias, yes.
Right.
Actually, I think we're
Yeah,
gonna
let's
need.
put them all, it's fine.
We'll save a few,
Okay, yeah,
just in case. So these are just raw cashews and macadamias, and we're using cashews and macadamias in place of the dairy because they're gonna have a creaminess to the recipe and they both have a sweetness. And then we're going to add a little bit of xylitol. So xylitol is the sugar part that's going in the recipe. So it's a sweetener, but it doesn't act like sugar.
All right, Debbie, with your permission, can I ask a question here for the benefit of our target audience? The folks who are gonna be very much interested to find out what the xylitol is and why xylitol.
Yes. So when we eat a lot of sugar in our life, whether it comes from fruit or it comes from cane sugar or beet sugar or dairy products, it feeds the inflammation in our bodies so that every disease or every ailment that we have, from allergies to arthritis to diabetes to cancer, is all fed or based in inflammation. So the more sugar we eat, the more we are feeding that inflammation. So xylitol comes from a birch tree. It comes from the bark on the outside of the birch tree. And it's a natural sweetener, so it's ground up. So it looks actually just like table sugar. Sorry, we'll just do this. So it looks like table sugar. It actually tastes pretty close to table sugar, but it does not feed inflammation. It does not affect blood sugar, but you can still get the same sweetness in a recipe.
Ah, got it. So this is the one what I always learned from Dr. Gabriel Cousins, right? And that is why I tell him guru, he's my guru. So we are sticking to that concept here, and this is basically gonna be a phase one, correct?
So completely phase one dessert based on Dr. Cousins means no sugar. So it does not feed inflammation, it doesn't affect blood sugar. And we're taking all the dairy out, so there's no animal products which also feed inflammation.
Correct. Oh, beautiful. So this is awesome, man. We are using the healthy fats and the healthy proteins, and then you got tons of other goodies in this. Although it is still phase one, so it cannot get better. So basically, you are trying to say someone who is suffering with a disease can still enjoy while detoxifying.
Absolutely, and not just people that are suffering from a disease, but anybody. So everybody, basically, pretty much across the board, people eat too much sugar. And for several years in our life, that doesn't seem to play a role or make any difference. And then all of a sudden, as we get older, there's a buildup and we end up with some sort of disease or some sort of ailment. And so what we're trying to do is make things in a different way. So whether you're 2 years old or you're 80 years old, you can still enjoy it without having to worry about that there's tons of sugar that are going to have an effect sometime in your life.
Well, Dr. Cousins, you are not here, but with your blessings, we want to have a little party here, if you don't mind. We are still phase 1, so we are going to be good kids.
Absolutely.
All right.
So we're going to pour in this coconut. We might as well put it in there now. I don't know if we need all of that. What do you think?
Yeah, you can put it in.
Because
That's fine.
the dessert has a lot of coconut flavor,
Right,
right?
so
Oh, it's all coconut.
we may gonna need more, but we can put in more.
Okay, so we'll just put that to our side for now. And then what else is in the recipe?
Cardamom, so we're gonna put some cardamom seeds,
Mm-hmm.
and we can put some cardamom powder too.
Okay,
So that should be fine.
so just let me know when I've put enough in. I've never tasted this, so.
Okay. I think that's good.
Okay.
That's good.
And we'll.
Alright, let's blend it right now.
Yep, we might need coconut oil, but we're gonna turn it on and see what happens. So macadamias and cashews have a lot of fat in them, so when you put them in a food processor and let the processor run, it breaks the nuts apart and releases the fat. So if you let it run long enough, it turns it into almost like cookie dough.
Ah, got it.
Instead of cooking down the milk and the sugar, which
Mhm.
is gonna get you that consistency of fudge,
Yep, definitely.
we're gonna let this machine do it without any heat to kill the food.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So we're just gonna turn it on and let it go. So you can see that it's now in little pieces, but it hasn't stuck together yet. So we're gonna keep the machine running and let it keep breaking it up, and you'll see pretty soon it's gonna start sticking together.
Got it.
So now it's stickier,
That's good.
but it's still not super sticky. If we let it run, it'll get even stickier.
So let it run a little bit more.
Yeah. So now you can start to feel the oils, but instead of adding another oil, we're just gonna let it run and see what it does on its own. So you can see down here, it's starting to get even stickier,
Stickier.
right?
Yes.
So we'll let it go a little further. In the actual dessert, does it have this sort of texture when
Yes,
you bite into it? Okay, so we don't want to lose all of that.
Because of the milk, when you keep boiling it, it's like come up like a cottage cheese, so it's kind of really something.
Okay. So it's not completely smooth. Okay. Want to touch it and see what you think?
Yeah, perfect. Or maybe a little bit more.
Okay.
We'll run it a little bit.
So now it's just down to little pieces, but again, the longer it runs, the more fat it releases. Sooner or later, it will turn into a cookie ball or a dough ball. But we don't want to go that far. How about we taste it and see what it tastes like? You want to taste it?
Absolutely. I always am ready for that.
Here you go. Does it have enough sweetness or cardamom?
We definitely need more cardamom.
Definitely need more cardamom.
And I would not mind more coconut either.
Yep,
Mhm.
we need coconut.
And more sugar for me.
And more sugar, more no sugar.
No sugar, right.
Some more cardamom, we'll put a little more xylitol in there.
And I even don't mind stevia.
Well, we're putting coconut oil,
Okay.
so coconut oil will have a little bit of sweetness too, so we'll let the coconut oil do its trick.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason we're putting coconut oil in there is for the flavor, and also because when coconut oil gets cold, it's going to solidify and help the dessert stay together.
Got you.
So even though, according to Dr. Cousin's phases, this is still phase 1, meaning it doesn't have any regular sugar in it or anything that affects blood sugar and inflammation, this is still not something that we promote eating every single day.
Oh, absolutely.
This is just a little tidbit on the side every once in a while. But still, the idea is to eat vegetables as our base. And then every
Correct.
once in a while we have something like this.
Yeah, and that also a small piece, like, maybe a chocolate size, not more than that.
Exactly.
It's just, like to satisfy your taste buds and make you happy, before or after or during the meal.
Exactly. We want to keep that texture and we'll lose it if we keep the machine running. So you tell me how the flavor is compared to the dish that we're recreating.
That's good. I think you still want to try it, maybe if you want to put more xylitol in.
I always like as sweet as possible,
Remember,
but
this is gonna make it
you
sweet.
got to make sure that it's healthy. You just don't want to keep cranking it up, correct?
I don't think it needs more oil.
Okay.
See, there you go. Ask the guru.
It's pretty sweet. Alright, so now what we'll do is we are going to, instead of running the machine longer and longer and longer, because that's going to change the texture of the mix, we're going to take the mix and put it into a bowl.
Okay.
Then we'll add the coconut oil, and then we'll see if it needs more spices or more sugar substitute.
Got you.
I thought I'd put this on top of here. That would be easier. So the coconut oil serves 3 parts. It brings in the coconut flavor, it will bring in some sweetness, and it will help the stuff stick together. So we can actually put it in a pan and then cut it into squares. All right. So Shayla, you can go ahead and pour some coconut oil in. Maybe a couple big spoons to begin with. We don't want to make it too oily.
That's right. That's 1 tablespoon.
Maybe 3 to start.
And by the way, those are the fake bananas, okay? So don't think that those are the real bananas.
They're plastic bananas.
Right. The only thing we are talking about in phase 1 is no fruits at all. It's phase 1.5, and that is also just the berries and the little bittersweet grapefruits. So don't be deceived.
So you can see it's pretty sticky. So the reason I use my hands is so I can tell what I'm feeling. If I use a spatula, I can't tell how sticky something is.
And that's the beauty, Debbie, like Indian traditional cooking, they use the hands. It's not all about the spoons and all those things.
All good chefs use their hands because then you have a connection with the food.
And not only that, traditionally the way India, they don't use the fork, knife and the spoons to eat. They use their hands.
Right,
It's not just about cooking.
right.
I had to touch and feel, I cannot eat. Even if you talk about salad, leaves, all the spinach and all those things, I like to eat it by hand.
I do too.
Yeah.
Because food is a interactive sport.
Correct.
Or it should be in the making of it and in the eating of it.
Yeah,
We should be touching our food.
I need to feel the vibe.
Exactly. Which is hard to do when you're cooking your food because it's hot. So you can't really stick your hand in there very often. But in raw food, there's no reason not to put your hand in there, and the best reason is you get to have an energy exchange with the food.
Absolutely. Very much.
That's
agree on
really
that.
good.
That's about right.
Yep.
All right, we're going to transfer it into this pan.
Actually, I think we should taste it one last time,
Okay.
just to make sure that the cardamom and everything is correct.
You want a nutmeg? That's good.
Yeah, is it close to the texture of the real dish?
Pretty much.
How about flavor?
Flavor is good too. It's
All right.
Awesome.
Why don't we do one thing? Let's get another test.
Wow.
Diti, can you come and test that thing? Because,
Of course!
of course, and by the way, Diti is Shaila's elder sister, so she probably would technically know better than Shaila does.
I think so because she cooks more than I do.
Yeah.
What do you think, Diti?
Cardamom.
More cardamom. That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking.
Okay, there you go.
I think it needs one more spoon of coconut oil too,
Okay.
just to make sure.
Nutmeg? You want to put nutmeg? Oh, just little bit.
Okay. So here's the joy of recreating recipes in raw food. So instead of you taking something that's cooked that maybe you're familiar with,
Okay.
and the idea is to be able to come as close as you can in texture and flavor, but it doesn't have to be exact. It's not about recreating something and making it exactly the same because you can't make it exactly the same.
Right.
Right? So for some people, maybe they are not used to having nutmeg in the dish or coconut oil in the dish or something, but I'm pretty sure if you eat this, you're going to get that same sensation and that same experience as if you were to eat the original dish.
That's right.
Absolutely
So
right.
close, pretty close, pretty close.
Did you want
All right, Shaila, if you don't mind, can you hold the mic, please? We cannot hear you properly.
Get you more coconut oil.
No, I
That
think
should be
it's
fine.
good. When it goes in the, so this is going to go in the refrigerator, and the coldness of the refrigerator will have the coconut oil help it solidify.
Okay, I'm with you. Yes, I very much agree with that part. Now, a question here. Can you do this thing, put it in this dehydrator, although you don't need it, but traditionally what they do is, like some of the places, they warm it up when they serve. It can be in the form of the pieces, or it can be like more like, mashed potato kind of a thing. So they warm it up and then serve it by the spoon. So how about that concept? Can we do that here?
Since there's coconut oil in here now, you could put it in the dehydrator for a short period of time. Like I would put this in the refrigerator first and let it solidify and cut it into the pieces.
Okay.
And then if you wanted to warm it up, you could put it in the dehydrator for maybe 10 minutes just to get it a little warm. Because if you put it in there too warm, the coconut oil will melt.
No, we are talking about just bringing it to the room temperature. That's pretty much it.
Or you can put it in the refrigerator and let it get hard or harder. And then before you want to serve it, you just take it out and you leave it on the counter.
Got it.
And then it will be at room temperature.
Got it.
I try not to put too much stuff in the dehydrator because the more oils of any kind, whether that's from a nut or a coconut or olives, etc., the more they sit out, the more chance they go rancid. And then you're eating oils that are bad.
Got it.
So if you don't have to put something in the dehydrator, all the better. So if you can let it sit on the counter while you're making the rest of dinner, right, to come to room temperature, then that would be better. It would be a healthier option.
Got you.
Awesome.
It looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it tastes good too.
I thought so.
Well, I don't think so until I
I'm
taste
saving you
it.
a little piece.
Unless and until you give me my fair share.
I'm saving you a little.
Okay. I can live with a small piece every hour.
Okay.
Cool. Awesome.
So then it's just patted into the pan. Just needs to go and harden just a little.
Oh, this looks really, really so tempting. I cannot control myself here.
If you wanted to make it harden faster, you just put it in the freezer, and it'll only take 10 or 15 minutes probably, because the cold of the freezer will get the coconut oil.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Can we do that so that I can enjoy it in 10 minutes now?
Of course.
Wow.
Thank you.
Ooh. Awesome. Thank you very much, ladies. That was just amazing transformation of traditional Indian sweet into a raw, live, low glycemic food. I really appreciate Debbie. This is great. Like we want to continue this improvisation and innovation in the food, and then keep converting the Indian foods into raw, live food kind of recipes, which are most of the time possible phase 1, sometimes phase 1.5, but still raw. So sticking to that. Once in a while we may have something for people if they are really partying, then do phase 1.5 with the healthy grains. But that's pretty much about it.
Yes.
All right. So how long I have to wait now?
Here's your bite.
Okay.
I
Hold on.
There's some almonds. Nice.
I just decorated with a little bit of sliced almond on top of it.
Beautiful.
Here you go, guys.
Here's your bite of the raw materials. Here's
Aha! Voila!
Voila, that's right. And we'll put that in the freezer, please, if there's room.
Whoa, yummy! Thumbs up! And here is your spoon.
Oh, thank you.
How is it?
It's just as sweet as you are, honey.
We just made flan just for you because you started all that healthy and raw eating stuff.
And you know what? It could not have been possible had not it been for Dr. Gabriel Cousins' blessings and Debbie's art in the cooking. Whoa! Wonderful.
Thank you so much, Debbie.
You're
So nice.
welcome. Thank you.
Okay.
Wait, now don't you have to go out the door?